Yo, YouTube, what's up with your boy? Sports and Fitness Rants. I'm back, guys. Click that like button. Subscribe to my channel. Ladies and gentlemen, on my channel, I'm always telling you guys live an active lifestyle, make smart nutritional choices. And I've gotten several requests from people for me to talk about some of the nutrition aspects of things. And I've kind of fallen off on the nutrition aspect of stuff. I've been focusing mainly on people moving more and certain exercises and things like that, because you guys have been asking me for this. But I wanted to talk real briefly about the quote-unquote the nutrition. A lot of people have asked me, shout out to my man Tim Nick, that asked me about some nutritional stuff. Now listen, ladies and gentlemen, I don't like to tell people what to eat or what not to eat, because we all have different allergies. Some people have religious beliefs that they can't eat certain things. So I get all of that. So I never really try to tell people, oh, you should be eating this, this, and this. What I always tell people is what? Think about reading food labels. That should be the first thing that you start doing now when you go food shopping, is looking at food labels. And what are you looking for? You're looking for things like added sugar. You're looking for things like these food dyes, the yellow fives and the red blues and all these things. All these things, you want to kind of look for things like that just to start off, right? Reading the ingredient list and looking at the labels for things like added sugar, right? The high fructose corn syrups, things of that nature. You want to try to avoid as much of this stuff as possible, right? I told you guys about the refined carbs. And most people know what a small nutritional choice is and what a small nutritional choice isn't. They know that donuts and cookies and cake and all of these snacks are not healthy for you. Now, I'm not saying that you can't eat these things at all. What have I told you guys? It's not about perfection. It's about consistency. So if you're consistently eating bad, then you're going to look bad. But if you're consistently making a small nutritional choice, living the active lifestyle, then you will not look as bad and you will not feel as bad as if you would otherwise. So I'm gonna give you guys a quick breakdown of some of the things that I eat and how a normal day would be for me, okay? So like I've told you guys before in the past about breakfast. A lot of people think that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and that may be true. The thing about breakfast is that I feel a lot of people feel they have to eat breakfast. You don't have to eat breakfast, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not hungry like that, then skip breakfast. You don't have to have it. I told you, a lot of days, most days, I don't eat breakfast. And I won't eat probably till 9, 10 o'clock in the morning when I'll have something. So you're talking about a long time of not having any food, almost a fast, so to speak, right? You go to bed at night, you're not eating anything, you're fasting. And then I'll wake up in the morning and I don't eat breakfast. That's a continued fast. Now, I'm not doing this thing for any sort of intermittent fasting or any reason in particular, but I've told you, sometimes I wake up in the morning and I'm not that hungry, so why would I force myself to eat breakfast? Also, sometimes when people force themselves to eat when they're not really hungry, you start to get lazy and sluggish throughout the day. So for breakfast, for me, if I'm going to eat breakfast, I'm going to have eggs. And eat the whole egg, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how many times I see these fitness guys and these channels, and they promote these egg whites. Don't eat the yolks. It doesn't make any sense to me. Eggs are some of the most nutritional things that you can eat, ladies and gentlemen. They really are. But for some reason, everyone's scared of the yolks now. Now, if you have a cholesterol problem, let's say, right, and a doctor has told you that you need to watch your cholesterol, I get all of that. The eggs are not going to hurt you, ladies and gentlemen. I usually eat 2 eggs scrambled in the morning. Sometimes I make an omelet. And what have I told you guys? I've told you guys that that's a good way for you to incorporate vegetables into your diet, is by mixing it into foods that you already enjoy. So for me, some days I'll make an omelet, right? 2-egg omelet. I'll get some spinach leaves and I'll sprinkle them in the omelet. I'll get some red bell pepper. Red bell pepper is like one of my favorite vegetables, guys. It is sweet. It really enhances the flavor of your foods. And bell peppers are outstanding for vitamins and nutrients, right? So I will chop up some red bell pepper, put that in there with the spinach, mix it up, throw a little salt and pepper in there, man. Maybe throw some feta cheese on there. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, banging, man. You don't even taste the spinach. I'm telling you right now, you won't even taste that you're eating or taste the spinach that you're eating. You won't taste it. So think about that as a go-to meal in the morning. Once again, you don't have to do the spinach or the red bell pepper like I do, but these are some of the vegetables that I'm always eating, guys. I love red bell peppers, the yellow bell pepper, or the orange bell peppers, red onions I love, spinach, kale leaves. Sometimes I'll get bok choy, which is like a, I think it's like a Chinese lettuce or something like that, if I'm mistaken. So think about some of these things in the morning, ladies and gentlemen. Try to avoid the things like bagels and pancakes in the morning, the sugary cereals. Remember, wake up in the morning with water. That's the first thing I do when I wake up, ladies and gentlemen, is I drink a big glass of water, right? That's my go-to. Don't be drinking coffee, milk, tea, juice, any of these things in the morning. Drink the water first thing when you wake up. That will kickstart your whole metabolism for the whole day, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great way to start your day. So think about doing something like that. If you wanted to try maybe some oatmeal or something like that, maybe throw some blueberries in there, or maybe some dried cranberries. I used to love eating oatmeal in the morning with dried cranberries in it. It was really good. But my go-to has been eggs for a long time. Like I said, the way I just explained to you is the way that I eat my eggs 99% of the time. Sometimes if I don't have vegetables on hand, maybe my wife didn't go to the food supermarket yet or something like that, then I'll do scrambled eggs with some feta cheese, man. And it works out outstanding. Like I said, the eggs give you the energy. They fill you up also, which keeps you full for longer. And don't avoid the egg yolks, ladies and gentlemen. All the vitamins and nutrients are in the egg yolks. Everyone's so worried about their damn protein intake. Don't worry about the protein intake, ladies and gentlemen, all right? So that would be what I would do for breakfast, let's say, right? Sometimes people will do a shake. Sometimes I do shakes in the morning. I've told you guys where I'll get maybe a scoop of protein powder. I'll do you just do some water, some protein powder. Sometimes I'll do a scoop of peanut butter in there. Sometimes I'll do this thing called these powdered greens. It's like super greens, it's powdered greens, guys. And I'll throw that in there, and I'll throw in maybe a little bit of drizzle honey, put that in the blender, and I'll take that on my way to work, man. It works wonders. Like I said, you get the energy from the food you eat, ladies and gentlemen. Now, my routine is a lot different than a lot of people, guys, because I'll go, let's say I eat that breakfast, right? 6 o'clock in the morning, and, I go to work, right? And I work a regular job like most people, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't work any special hours. I work a regular job, from 7 to 3, okay? So let's say I get to work at 7. I just ate at 6 o'clock. I probably won't eat again till maybe 10, 11 o'clock, which would be like a kind of a lunch for me, right? But what I have for lunch is carrots and peanut butter. That's my go-to lunch every single day. If it's not carrots and peanut butter, then it's apples and peanut butter. One or the other. It's either carrots and peanut butter or apples and peanut butter. And it's just regular peanut butter, guys. Nothing special. It's Skippy peanut butter, man. Like I said, nothing special. I don't measure the amount that I use. I bring a certain amount of peanut butter with me, and I dip the carrots in the peanut butter, and I eat the carrots. They're little baby carrots. You guys have probably seen them. They come in like a bag. They're peeled. They're little baby carrots, man. I one dip and I eat them, man. I get a whole handful of carrots, man. Once again, I don't know. I don't measure the amount, but it's a good amount of carrots, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, another vegetable, carrots. One of my go-to vegetables that I eat almost every single day. I'm having carrots. I told you, if it's not carrots, I'm eating apples. Either or. Once again, apples have great fiber content in them. They will keep you full longer. You mix that with the peanut butter, and all of a sudden, you'll be full for a lot longer, ladies and gentlemen. It'll keep you full, and that works wonders for me at lunch. I know some of you guys might think that's all you eat. That's all I eat, ladies and gentlemen. Literally carrots and peanut butter. Once again, the fiber in the carrots will keep you full. And not to mention all the vitamins and nutrients that are in these carrots, ladies and gentlemen, all right, that are excellent for you, all right? So don't avoid these things. And then for lunch, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, I've always told you guys what, I'm very fortunate because my wife cooks. She's an excellent cook, man. The food she knows how to cook, but the food also tastes good, right? So there's a difference. Some people know how to cook, but the food don't taste good. My wife is both. She knows how to cook a variety of different things, and the food tastes good. So I'm very fortunate, guys. I'm not taking my wife for granted, the things that she does. So normally my wife will cook just about every single day, and we'll have dinner about 5:30, 6 o'clock every single day. And that dinner always consists of either a pasta dish or some kind of chicken, maybe a stew she'll make, but we usually have some kind of vegetable. Our go-to vegetables, for our kids is broccoli. Even though they don't like it, we'll make them eat it. I don't care. I love broccoli. Green beans is another one of our go-to vegetables. And once again, sometimes I'll chop up red bell pepper or some orange bell pepper, some red onion, maybe some kale leaves, whatever it is. And I try to mix it in sometimes with some of the food that my wife makes. Now, my family's not into the healthy foods as much as I am. I try to get them to, be like me and do what I do. But at the same time, we don't want to force people to eat things that they still don't like. But my kids love green beans, so we'll usually have green beans with a lot of these meals. Sometimes if we do a taco night or a fajita night, that's when you get the red bell pepper and some of the other vegetables involved. Sometimes my wife will make a turkey chili, which is outstanding. Think about maybe doing that with some beans and things of that nature. Try to think about incorporating beans into your diet. The go-to beans for me would be like black beans, kidney beans, the red beans, and my wife will mix these into certain meals that I like or whatever. So think about these things. Like I said, don't avoid the pastas. It's okay to have pasta every once in a while. My wife is Italian, so we'll have pasta. They have a tri-colored pasta. They have a whole grain pasta. They have pasta that's made out of spinach and some of these other vegetables. So think about incorporating in one of these options. But these are the kinds of things that I eat on a daily. Like I said, I always try to have some kind of vegetable for dinner for me and my kids and my family. And like I said, I'm very fortunate that my wife cooks, so it gives me different options. And sometimes my wife will make pizza on like a Friday night. She'll make pizza for us, which is really great. Like I said, guys, it's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent. And remember, if you're cooking your foods, the benefit of having my wife cook most of the time is that we know what's going in these foods. My wife knows what ingredients she's putting in there, right? She can control these things. So we know what we're getting. Sometimes when you go out to a fast food restaurant or a restaurant in general, or you're buying these prepackaged foods, you really don't know what's in there. And that's why I tell people to focus on reading the food labels so that you understand and a little bit more aware of what you're eating. All right, so remember, ladies and gentlemen, that would be a typical day for me, some meals that I like to eat. I know it sounds pretty basic, but at the same time, there's a lot of variety in there. I told you my go-to vegetables are bell peppers, spinach, kale, bok choy, red onions. These are like my go-to vegetables, green beans, broccoli. These are some of the things that I eat all the time. I mean, every week, guys, I'm eating the same things. Invest in some feta cheese crumbles. They go great on top of eggs, ladies and gentlemen. They go great in pasta dishes, all of this stuff, man. And think about, like I said, think about doing different options and mixing it up. Avocados, I love doing avocados. Sometimes my wife will make like a taco bowl night we'll have, right? Well, we'll get like a ground beef, we'll get some black beans, we'll get like a bunch of stuff that you would put like in a taco, maybe get like some tortilla chips, crumble those up, right? Get some cheddar cheese, and I'll get some avocado, throw that on there, maybe drizzle a little bit of olive oil. And you know, just made me think about that. When you're making these eggs, guys, in the morning, olive oil, if you drizzle olive oil in the pan before you put the eggs on, I don't know about for you guys, but for me, the eggs taste much better. They taste different with the olive oil on there. So, you know, a lot of people, like most times I'll do have like this cooking spray. You spray the pan down so the eggs don't stick. But when I started using olive oil, it just started tasting a lot different for me. So think about maybe using some olive oil in the pan before you throw the eggs in, and it might help you with the taste, the consistency of the eggs, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope I've answered some of your guys' questions and given you guys some ideas of things to eat. And remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent, ladies and gentlemen, right? Mix it up, try different things. For a long time, I avoided avocados. The consistency to me was off. It just didn't appeal to me. And I kept reading about avocados. I kept seeing people talking about avocados, avocado this, avocado that. And I was like, you know what? I do a lot of these taco bowls. So why don't I try putting in or incorporating some avocado into my meal? And I started doing it. And man, I was missing out, ladies and gentlemen. I was missing out. Now it's one of my favorite things. The only problem with avocados, or the only things that make it a little bit difficult, is that you have to wait for these things to ripen sometimes. And sometimes it's hard to gauge whether the avocado is right. You cut into it and it's not right. Many times I've wasted avocados thinking that they were ripe or they were ripe and they were over. It's just sometimes a little bit difficult. That's like the hardest part with some of these things, guys. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, also eating fruits and vegetables will hold you accountable because fruits and vegetables will go bad. So you have a certain amount of time to eat these things. You can't just leave them in your refrigerator or leave them in your pantry somewhere or whatever and just leave them there because it's going to go bad. So it forces you to have to eat these things or you're going to waste your money, right? So hold yourself accountable, ladies and gentlemen. If you buy fruits and vegetables, don't just buy for the look or buy just so you could be in the supermarket walking around and buying these things and look like you're eating right. You have to actually eat these things, ladies and gentlemen. So shout out to my man, Tim Nick. Shout out to all the supporters out there that have been asking me questions about the nutrition side of things. If you guys have any more questions about nutrition, I'll go over some more meals and some of the things that I do and how I incorporate some of this stuff, maybe in a little bit more detail. But remember, guys, I've heard people talk about a fruit. I told you guys I eat apples. Apples like one of my go-to fruits, man. I love apples. And sometimes you'll hear people talk about fruit, like, oh, fruit got sugar in it. Yeah, no duh, fruit has sugar in it. But also fruit has many other vitamins and nutrients in it that work in synergy with each other. This is not sugar, just sugar. There's fiber in the apple. There's fiber in these fruits, ladies and gentlemen, that balance the sugar out. The problem in this world, in this country, is not that we're eating too much fruit. That's not the problem. So don't listen to people when they say, oh, well, that apple has sugar in it, or this fruit has sugar in it, or that fruit has sugar in it. It absolutely does. But it also has all these other vitamins and nutrients in it. It also has all these fiber in it that works in synergy with each other. Remember that, ladies and gentlemen. Fruits and vegetables have synergy. They have things in them that are not quantified on the package label. You can't read how much of these things are in there, but they're in those things. Remember, it's the synergy. You get the energy from the foods that you eat and from the active lifestyle that you live.